Good morning, beloveds. I hope that your Halloween celebrations were appropriately scary and that if you had a supply of candy that you were handing out, you've not been burdened by too many leftovers. I personally never know what to do with those leftover mini chocolate bars. I like Halloween. I remember when my children were little, I think in spite of all the hype about birthdays and Christmas, that Halloween was really their favorite. It seemed that there was something about pretending to be something that they weren't and flirting with horror that captured their imaginations. It all seemed quite mysterious and ultimately engaged them in ways that other celebrations didn't seem to. Friday, the 31st, was the first day in a trio of celebrations with Celtic origins. Samhain was a harvest festival and marked the boundary between the lighter and darker halves of the year. It's one of the quarter turns between the solstice and the equinox. References to a variety of celebrations about Samhain date from the 10th century, and we find similarities in other cultures too. In Central American and South American countries, a variety of customs mark the festival of the Day of the Dead. Rituals related to our current practices are believed to date back about 2,000 years. The ancients believed that it was this time of year, as we transition from one season to another, that the veil between life and the afterlife is thinned, and that those who have died are more likely to make themselves known to us. In typical fashion, we've taken those ancient celebrations and in turn have made them their own. Halloween has largely become the property of children and candy makers. The Roman Catholic Church fashioned All Saints and All Souls Day out of the mix. So our question this morning is, what do we as Unitarian Universalists take from this strange brew of traditions? What I think we'd normally do is engage in a historical analysis and accounting of the various traditions, and then consider how we might modify them and how they've been sanitized through the centuries. I'm guessing an intellectual review would be, for many of us, myself included, quite interesting. It would be comfortable and safe, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to ask us all to take a moment, to take a breath, and to imagine that we are someone else. I'm inviting you into the Halloween spirit. Let's just imagine for a moment that we're part of some ancient tribe, people who've gathered here at the end of the growing season. We know, because people have been paying attention to the land and seasons for a long time, that the cold temperature and longer nights are not permanent, but that the reasons for them are still beyond our ancient reckonings. And here we are then, these ancient people in this room, considering our celebrations and customs. The harvest is in, but the earth lays strangely empty. Our cupboards are for at least a while full, but the walls and our knees creak with the cold. There's a fire in the stove, but even the noonday sun is strangely weak and cold. Now consider with me the big questions. What's the meaning of my life? What happens to me when I die? How am I connected to the great mystery which seems to be at once both soothing and terrifying? It seems to me that if we can, if only for a moment, step outside of our modern understandings and sensibilities, if we can do that, then we might gain some insight into the power of the observances that come at this time of year. Samhain and Halloween, All Hallows Eve, remind us that there are mysteries, powers, and connections that we can't understand. How really can any of us understand the bonds between humans? I'm a rational person, usually, and there are days when I still find myself talking to my grandfather, gone for almost 35 years. I can almost hear his voice. Linda, someone's taking themselves too seriously. Or, that's a load. My grandfather had a gift for cutting through the muck, getting quickly to the heart of the matter. Now, I don't think my grandfather's literally talking to me, but his voice and his perspective have the capacity, because I allow them to influence me still. What a gift that is. And at this time of year, when the business of the garden and summer and the demands of preparing for winter are largely behind us, maybe I have a little bit more time to listen to that voice and other voices that I carry with me. A few weeks ago, I was at my sister-in-law's cottage on a small lake near Haliburton. One of the things that struck me when I was there was how the leaves, mostly fallen from the trees, I was able to see the outlines of the hills. The road into her cottage usually is just a leafy vista, but at this time of year, I can see the rocks and the hills and the dips of the land. I was able to see the land in a way that I can't during the lush summer, and that seemed like an apt metaphor for life, too. At the quiet cottage, most people gone from the lake until next summer, away from the noise of the city, I was able to see, once again, the landscape of my life in ways that I don't normally have the opportunity to see it. I was able to remember other visits to that lake, to remember a cottage full of noisy people, laughing family as they bustled about planning a canoe or a picnic or whatever it is they were going to do. I was able to conjure up visions of my younger self, of my father-in-law before his age slowed him down, of my niece no longer living, laughing as she held her baby boy on her knee. He's 22 now. In the stillness of that cabin, I really understand how it might have felt at this quiet time of year that the boundaries between the living and the dead felt blurred. Against the seemingly dead background of nature, we gather together for quiet meals, for conversations almost whispered at times. And we, unlike so much around us, miraculously keep living. And live we do. We emerge from our quiet time, perhaps to mock death that seems so close. How better to know, to let death know that you aren't ready for that dearly departed business than by thumbing your nose at it, putting on its clothes and dancing around. No wonder I still to this day open my door on Halloween and see ghosts and skeletons and zombies asking for candy. It's the privilege of the living. We know that danger lurks. We know that life is short. And we go to some not insignificant effort to remind everyone, ourselves included, that we may look like we're ready for the graveyard, but we're not. We're alive. We're alive. And one of the tasks of living is to ask ourselves how to live lives of meaning and purpose. One of the ways we sometimes set about this business of trying to understand that is to look at the examples of those who've gone before. Faces routinely float across my social media feed, reminding me with quotes and pictures of those that many of my generation consider exemplars. Gandhi, Mandela, King, and Angelou. None of them have officially gained the status of saint, but they have helped me and some of my friends who are looking for a way to understand these hard and confusing days when police and protesters struggle, when guns and cars are used as weapons, when another schoolyard is the site of an unspeakable tragedy, and our television is only too willing to remind us of the danger. The words and teaching of those familiar thinkers and leaders are like places on a map for me. Aren't saints really just signposts, helping us understand and reminding us that we have choices? The Roman Catholic saints helped teach that loyalty to belief in God and personal integrity were of greater worth than life. There's a delightful story about a child who visits a church renowned for its stained glass windows depicting some of the myths and stories of the major saints. Later, when asked what she had learned about saints from her visit, she offered, "Saints are the people that the light shines through." Indeed, saints are the people that the light shines through. In Roman Catholic teaching, a saint is someone who sees the suffering of the world and the problems of the world, whose heart is broken by injustices and hurts, but because of their faith retains joy and hope. Oh, that we could all do that. Walk fully alive, fully aware through this world, and retain hope and joy. Is there someone you have known, now gone, who can help you understand better for yourself how you might do that? Who are your saints? Who, for you, does the light shine through? I've known some people whose lives remind me of the traits and values I would like to model my life after. I wasn't raised a Catholic, but I grew up loving the idea of a young Bernadette wandering in the countryside, seeing an image of the Holy Mother. I understand now that I, too, longed for a glimpse of wonder and mystery. I longed for a glimpse of the divine. I spent hours in the woods behind my parents' house, and it was there in some small way that I, as a child, did experience something holy. Sitting quietly with my lunch, listening to the birds, or watching a caterpillar make its way along a log. Those were my Bernadette moments. In thinking about Bernadette, I had the model I needed. She taught me to be mindful and to keep my eyes open for miracles. We're alive. We laugh and we mock death, but unless we challenge ourselves, we may forget to ask, what's next? How do we make sense out of any of it? The idea of saints might be helpful, and an observation of All Saints' Day, which for me is a slightly unorthodox observation that honors people who weren't actually canonized probably, is powerful. Lighting a candle, thinking of models for good and ethical living, considering how I can close the gap between my reality and ideals, and a word that seems so much, to be in pain, that seems like a good way to observe the day. Quiet reflection, acknowledging my limitations, and imagining how I can live more fully with compassion, hope, and joy is for me a good way to start a month and note the beginning of the dark half of the year, a time when I'm most in need of the reminders of how to live with grace and a sense of humor and a sense of abundance. Saints and heroes, the saying goes, can be hard to live with. We are all, after all, just human, just folks trying to get by. We mess up. Oh boy, do we mess things up. And so all this talk of saints can leave us feeling maybe a bit inadequate. I don't know about you, but I'm not often presented with the opportunity to be beheaded for my beliefs, as St. Valentine was. Valentine was conducting Christian weddings. That's what got him into trouble. I, long before it was legal in Canada, was performing same-sex marriages, but, no one came at me with an axe. I've never felt that my political ideals and ideas put me in danger of being burnt at the stake, and I don't know if I would continue to declare the truth of my ideas if I was faced with torture by inquisitors. I like to think I might be, but I don't know. I don't generally feel that my life gets played out in such dramatic life or death ways. So while the idea of saints might be a useful one, I think there's a need for something else too, something more basic. So All Souls. That's the other day in this trio. There's the day for me, just another human, a soul, flaws and all, trying to find their way. A consideration of All Souls seems like a way to level the playing field. Now, I know that in most tradition, All Souls focuses on the departed or the dead. In many traditions, it involves a trip to the grave, praying, lighting candles, providing food, all encouragements for that person's journey to heaven, helping to ease the suffering of being in limbo. But in our Unitarian Universalist tradition, where our spiritual ancestors believed, the Universalists in particular, believed that everyone would be saved. They believed that no loving father would condemn a child to damnation. So in our Universalist tradition, maybe our understanding of All Souls can shift a bit. Many of our older Universalist congregations, both in Canada and the US, were called All Souls. They believed that all would be redeemed. That's right, everyone, all of them, the rotten neighbor, the teacher, the vagrant, the doctor, the sex trade worker, the crabby clerk at the grocery store, all will, the teaching goes, be saved. All will, according to the teaching, be saved after this life. Well, if the idea of salvation after death holds any currency with you, that is no doubt a fine thing. But what if it doesn't? What if I just consider metaphorically that we all have souls and that we are all worthy of redemption and salvation? And if I worry less about them and worry more about now? The afterlife isn't so present, but today is. What does that require of me? What choice then do I have but to see the rotten neighbor, the teacher, the vagrant, the sex trade worker, and the crabby clerk at the grocery store, or anyone else as less than a fellow traveler? Someone who is worthy of my compassion and kindness. The suffering of all souls in limbo is not the concern, but the suffering of souls here on earth is. I might, given some particular religious or cultural tradition, be prepared to take flowers and food to the graves of my loved ones. I might offer prayers that have as their object a relief from their suffering, and I might attempt to intercede on their behalf so that they may know peace in the afterlife. So too, it seems to me that I'm required to do no less here, now, while we share the air in this room and in our world, and we share the resources of our precious earth. All Souls can be a day on my calendar or a day in my heart when I can be reminded that my meditation should be, as it is for many Buddhist practitioners, may all beings experience happiness and be free from suffering. Flowers, meals, prayers, meditations, and compassion, along with a relentless longing for a world made fair and just, is what I believe is required of us at this time. Those of us who dare to see the spark of the divine in others as much as they do in themselves. Barriers and excuses are harder to maintain when our hearts are open to that awareness, and it's not easy. My Unitarian Universalist interpretation of All Souls has the potential for me to be life-changing, and at the very least, I think it can be heart-changing. And so I say, bring it on. Candies, candles, skulls, and werewolves. Let us all think about lightening our grip on the rational, if only for a few days of the year. Let us embrace the mystery. Live faithfully, and most importantly, always most importantly, let us love one another. Let us take a few breaths.